Hi everyone, we're looking at fractional indices today. I'm going to just start with a quick recap. 9 cubed multiplied by 9 to the power of 4. If you remember the rule, you add the indices. 3 plus 4 gives 9 to the power of 7. Okay, and if I was to say to you that 9 to the power of something multiplied by 9 to the power of something, and these are the same something, gave 9 to the power of 1, what answer do you think would have to go in the box? Hopefully, you're thinking 1/2, but that'd say 9 to the power of, write that like that, 1/2, so it's a bit messy. 9 to the power of a half multiplied by 9 to the power of a half gives 1. Now, another way of saying that, well, 9 to the power of 1 is just 9. So really, this is 3 multiplied by 3 gives 9, if it's the same number in both cases. So 3 by 3, 9 to the half, 9 to the half. That suggests that 9 to the power of 1/2 is the same number as 3. And that is the case. This half notation, whenever you see it, that means the square root. So that's the square root of 9 is 3, or 9 to the power of a half is 3. Okay, so down here, if I want 16 to the power of 1, or just 16, that power of 1, you don't need to have it in there because the number is just 16. What index do I need to put in over here? Hopefully you're thinking, yeah, 16 to the power of a half multiplied by 16 to the power of a half. And that's the same as saying the square root of 16 multiplied by the square root of 16 equals 16. Or 4 by 4 is 16. Okay, so this is what I mean by fractional indices. I mean an index that is in fraction form, like 1/2. Okay, what about here? 8 by 8 by 8 equals 8 to the power of 1. So what number am I putting up here? That when I add the indices together, I get 1. Remember up here, a half plus a half gave 1. Oh, a half plus a half gives 1. So what do you think goes in here? Hopefully you're guessing 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3. You add those three indices, you get 1 as an answer. Okay, but what number is that? To get 8 as an answer that you multiply by itself 3 times, well, that's 2 by 2 by 2. 2 is the cubed root of 8, is 2. Okay, so square roots, you say it's to the power of a half. Cube roots, it's to the power of 1/3. So 8 to the power of 1/3 is the same as the cubed root of 8, or 2. Now what I'd ask you to do now is pause and just go to your calculator and type in 9 to the power of a half. Show that you get 3, you get the square root of 9. 8 to the power of 1/3, show that you get 2. And try some other ones. Try 100 to the power of a half. Square root of 100, you know, is 10. Try 27 to the power of a third. That's the cube root of 27 is 3. Okay, so when you're done there, you might try these 5. Just pause the video, try these 5, and I'll do them now in a second. Okay, 25 to the power of a half. Hopefully you said, well, that's the square root of 25, and you know that 5 times 5 is 25. So the answer there is 5. 100 to the power of a half is the square root of 100. Well, you know that 10 times 10 gives 100, so the answer is 10. 27 to the power of 1/3. So what by what by what? It's the cubed root of 27. That's what that 1/3 means, remember? Cubed root of 27. Well, 3 by 3 by 3. That's going to give 27. So the cubed root of 27 is 3. The cubed root of 1000. 10 by 10 by 10 gives 1000. Okay, and you might write that in as the cubed root of 1000. 16 to the power of 1/4. Well, that means the fourth root of 16. What do I mean by the fourth root? Well, 2 times itself 4 times, or 2 to the power of 4 gives 16. So 2 is the fourth root of 16. The answer there is 2. Slightly trickier ones that are going to come up later on in the exercise, something like this. The cubed root of 8 squared. So there's a few things I want to do with this. First of all, well, 8 squared is 64. So that's the cubed root of 64. And you might know that 4 by 4 by 4 gives 64. The answer there is 4. However, there's other ways you could write this as well. Okay, we don't just want the answer, we want to understand this notation. 8 squared And then the cubed root of 8 squared, well, that's 8 squared all to the power of 1/3. And if you remember our notation, or sorry, our rule for multiplying indices, an index to the power of an index, you multiply the indices. So that's 8 to the power of 2/3 is the same as the cubed root of 8 squared. Okay, so the number on the bottom tells you that's a cubed root. The number in the top tells you that it's squared. Okay, so here, I'll work this out. So that's the square root of 2 to the power of 4 is 16, and the square root of 16, you don't have to have that 2 for a square root. You can just leave it as the square root of 16 is 4 again. But this time, I would like you to try and write this with a fractional index. So just pause the video, try it there. Okay, hopefully you've said, well, that's the same as 2 to the power of 4. And then you said, well, the square root is to the power of 1/2. Multiplying that, 4 times a half, 4/2, or 2 squared. 2 squared, you know, is 4. Okay, so these are all the same. So go to your calculator and type it in the different forms. In this case, you should always get 4 as an answer. Actually, in this case, you'll always get 4 as an answer as well. This one, let's try and write this as a fractional index. Don't worry about working it out for the moment. Just try and write it as a fractional index. And pause there for a second. Okay, hopefully you said 4 squared, and that's a 4th root there. So that's to the power of 1/4. When you multiply that out, that's 4 to the power of 1/2. And you can leave it like that, or you can say, well, a half, that's the square root of 4. So that's 2. Okay, so these are tricky enough. See if you can work out what 8 to the power of 2/3 gives. Okay, so start off with, well, what's that? 8 squared times 1/3. That's another way of writing 2/3 is 2 multiplied by 1/3. Okay, and you know that to the power of 1/3 means the cubed root of 8 squared. Well, 8 squared is 64. And the cubed root of 64 is 4. Okay, that's the same one that we've seen up here. Okay, so these definitely get tricky enough. So I'm only going to ask you to do one now. Could you do question 1 on page 329, please? Tomorrow we're going to carry on trying to get questions 2 to 8 done. Yeah, hopefully we'll find this okay. All right, so talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.